So, hello everyone. Today we will have another discussion about the perspective of the self. And now let's have a little recap. Last time we discussed the philosophical perspective of the self. In that perspective, they view their understanding of the self as the body and soul, and the body and mind. No, and also last meeting, no, we have discussed about the sociological perspective, which you learned that uh, the view of the self, no, was influenced by factors from the society. So today, let us talk about the anthropological perspective of the self, no, which sees the self as embedded in culture. So let's first define the term anthropology. What do we mean by anthropology? So, it is the study of all aspects of the human condition. So, in other words, no, it tackles human history, the present condition, and future possibilities of humans. So, in addition to that, anthropology is a comparative study of human societies, their cultures, and their development concerned on how biology and culture interact to shape human experiences. Okay, in this field of anthropology explores the interconnectedness and um, interdependence of human cultural experiences in all places and ages. So, in this lesson, we will deal with the modern trends of anthropology, especially in understanding humankind in relation to their culture. We talk about culture. So, we also need to include the definition of culture, no, para mas masabtan nato ang concept of anthropological perspective, no, as an explanation of how we construct ourselves. Okay? Okay. So there are two components of culture. So the first one, no, is the material culture. So material culture refers to the physical objects, resources, and spaces that people use to define their culture. Now, for example, no, when we say material culture, no, meaning kanang mga bagay, kanang mga butang na atong makita, ato ang magunitan, no, or anything na ma-acknowledge sa ato ang senses. No? These are examples of a material culture. So, what are these? No, pwedeng school, churches, temples, clothing, di ba? Our national costume, no, of the Philippines is Filipiniana and Barong Tagalog. No, pwede ding ang material culture is transportation, no, which is back then we called kalesa. So here, no, in the Philippine context, no, some general culture are kaning nipahat, no, ang mga balay nipahat, or what we call bahay kubo, no, what else? Kaning mga banga, no, mga jars. And we also have, no, only in the Philippines, no, the mode of transportation, no, yung tinatawag nating hari ng daan, no, jeepneys, no. And also there are food, no, that are usually served during fiestas. No, unsa man yung mga food na kadalasan present sa fiesta. No, usually lechon baboy, 'di ba? Pansit, No, pansit is usually served kasi ang pansit, no, they believe that pansit is pampahaba ng buhay. No, we also have mga kakanin, no, and many else. So, another component of culture is the one that we call the non-material culture. So, kung naay material, naapud tay non-material culture. So, mo ni siyang culture na does not involve the use of our senses. No, and this is also known as the symbolical culture, symbols. No, so non-material culture refers to the non-physical ideas that people have about their culture, including their beliefs, values, rules, norms, morals, language, organizations, and institutions. So, ang example ani, no, so, based from the picture, no, as you can see, no, there are people, no, in the picture, maybe they are gathered to eat. Maybe lunch na nila, no? So that's the usual scenario pag mukaon tag lunch, no? Especially no when you see a family that is kanang religious or who believes in God. No? So before magkaon, magampo judaan. So this is an example of a non-material culture. No, praying. No, praying is a form of the non-material culture. No, and ang ato ang makita, no, ang mga food served on their table is a form of a material culture. No, mga pagkaon nila, lechon baboy, no, so that is their material culture. Okay, so now, no, we already differentiate the two, no, the material, which is the tangible materials, are the tangible things that can be felt by our senses, while the non-material is the intangible things, no, that doesn't necessarily involve our senses. So, ayan, this is a snap difference preview, no, between material and non-material culture. So for material, it consists of concrete and tangible objects. So as mentioned earlier, tangible means magunitan, while the non-material culture consists of intangible and abstract object. So dili nato ni siya magunitan, and these are kaning abstract objects, or these are symbols and beliefs. No, and lastly, no, material culture consists of man-made objects that represent one's culture. No, while the non-material culture are the identities of a certain group of individuals. Okay, so culture affects perception and it influences our behavior. No, it highlights our behavior, no, in a way that it shapes our personalities. No? Ang atong culture makaapekto din sa atong personalidad. No, that's why culture is important in our perception. So, for example, no, in the picture, no, so, for example, no, while walking, no, along sa hallway, no, nagsugat daw sila, no, and according to this person's point of view, no, habang nagsugat sila nga murag na-offend daw siya. No, na-offend siya, no, the way she dresses. So, maka-insulto daw iyang way of dressing up. No, maybe she is kaning imitating, no, iyahang gisuot, or she is showing too much skin, or kaning she is kaning wala siya nanang di siya ganahan sa iyang the way manamit. No, while the other person's point of view, sabi, no, dili ba sobra ra kaayo na nga sanina, no? So, um, sa iyang perspective, no, iga nga sa iyang gisuot, uy, no? So, from the other one, no, maingon siya, kanang, sexy ra mo kayong gisuot, no? Maybe we can assume na ing ana ang culture ni A, no? Ing ana siguro manamit ang culture ni A. And also, ganyan siguro din ang culture ni B, no? In terms of dressing up, no? So, our culture, no, defines who we are. That's why, no, it affects our perception of ourselves and towards others. So sa atong culture, no, just like what I mentioned recently, natay ginatawag na individualistic culture and collectivistic culture. No? So unsa maning individualistic and collectivistic culture? Okay, so dito sa collectivistic culture, so social rules focus on promoting selflessness, selfless meaning they kaning selflessness, no, they help kanang mutabang ta sa other people, no, they are generous to other people, no, they are working as a group, no, then you think of other people before yourself, and that's being selfless. Next is working as a group, no, doing what's best for the society, no. So for example, no, sa mga calamities that we have experienced, no, say for example bagyong Ondoy, no, there are many people, no, who responded, no, who reacted quickly to help the victims of the calamity, no. So the government, no, some organizations and people, no, initiated to help the survivors of the calamity, no. So pasabot ani, no, that our country, no, the Philippines is a collectivistic culture. So on the contrary, no, so individualistic culture, so kaning nga culture, no, they prioritize being unique, no, being autonomous, sa maning autonomous, no, having freedom of the self, no, deciding for oneself, no, ikaw magbuot sa imong kaugalingon, that is autonomous, no, being independent and being self-sufficient. Okay? So to put it simply, no, in simpler terms, no, so the collectivistic culture is more of the benefit of the many, benefit sa ubang tao, no, or benefit of their group, no, from the word collectivist, no, this is for the many, no, kung unsay makatabang sa kadaghanan. No, while dito naman sa individualistic, no, it is focused, no, it's more of the benefit of the self. So here, no, is a representation of the individualistic and collectivistic culture. So in the individualistic concept, no, of the self, so sila yung mga taong independent, no, self-reliant, achievement oriented, competitive, assertive, no, so on and so forth. So all of these traits, no, pertain to the benefit of the self, no, para ni sa sarili nga benefit. While sa collectivist naman, no, they are socially interdependent, connected, moderate, moderate, traditional, no, cooperative, obedient, self-sacrificing, sensitive, self-controlled, and equalitarian. No, and as you have noticed, no, and these traits, no, pertains to the benefit of the many or to the benefit of the group. Okay, so those are the difference, no, of the individualistic and the collectivistic na culture. Now, in conclusion, so with anthropological perspective no sa ato ang self no, your culture or our culture is an important part of ourselves. Okay, so the self is viewed no either as individualist or collectivist. And personal names in all societies represent the self. Okay, so that ends no our discussion about the anthropological perspective of the self.